How's it, guys? This is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now finally we're going to be doing the team selection for game week 1, the first team selection of this FPL season. So if you want to follow our journey throughout the season, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss a video. In this video we're going over obviously the team that I'll be going into with game week 1 as well as the transfer plan associated with this draft. The transfer plan is of utmost importance this season, differs from other seasons because of this whole blank game week in game week 1 with United and Man City. So if you want to see the team, sit back, relax, and let's get into the video. So a new season calls for a new sponsor, but here on the Dayvy FPL channel, we like our old. So I've brought back the old sponsor, OneFootball, but with a completely new revamped app. Yes, OneFootball has gone over a complete marketing revamp, new logo, new everything. I've checked it out, looks really good. They kind of took the old app, but just made it better. So I'm really appreciative of that. If you want to go check them out, link down in the description below to go download the app. If you don't know who they are, they're the biggest app on iOS and Android, so go check them out. I personally use them, so I can recommend them from a personal level. So before we look at the draft, I want to just give you a reminder that we will be doing a deadline with Dayvy live stream. These live streams were massively successful last season, even though the deadline has been moved an hour and a half before. That's just going to move our starting time half an hour before. Still going to be doing it an hour before deadline, so just look on your app or your website whenever the deadline is and just minus 1 hour from that, and then you can catch us live on this channel, or you can follow me on Twitter at DayvyFPL for that live notification. This is kind of the best way to get the most up-to-date squad. There's going to be a lot of press conferences happening later today as well as tomorrow, and we're going to be getting a lot of transfer news and injury news, I'm pretty sure, before that. So that's going to be the best chance to get the most up-to-date squad. Hopefully I see you all there. So this is the draft. I'm going to be going over each position, as I do think the talking points and why I chose each player is going to be quite helpful, and hopefully it helps you choose future drafts and future transfers. So starting off in goal, we do have Ramsdale from Sheffield United. If you've watched my previous drafts, he's basically been a mainstay in the squad. Comes in at 5 million, and I really think that Sheffield United are going to have a good defensive season overall, and that's going to equal some clean sheet points and some save points hopefully for Ramsdale. If you don't want Ramsdale, you can easily downgrade him to whatever 4.5 option you want. My personal favorites are Ryan from Brighton or McCarthy from Southampton. I think that those two are the good options to go with. The rest of the defense, we've got Davies, Walker-Peters, and Alexander-Arnold in the starting lineup. So Davies from Spurs. I do like Spurs' fixtures after that game week 1 game against Everton, and that's kind of the reason I've opted for him here. He comes in at 5 million, gives me enough flexibility to upgrade or downgrade him past those first opening game weeks to whatever transfers I want. You could also go for a 4.5 here, but I just think that extra 0.5 million for a Spurs defender who post-lockdown put up some good defensive stats is going to be worth it. My thinking behind Davies is kind of a hope that Danny Rose plays those midweek qualifier games that are less important, and then Davies kind of gets rested so he can be ready to go for those Prem fixtures. Kyle Walker-Peters was on loan with Southampton last season, managed to make that move permanent, so I definitely think he's going to be the starting fullback at Southampton, and I kind of prefer the Walker-Peters-Ramsdale combination besides the McCarthy and Egan combination, as Walker-Peters offers a lot of attacking threat going forward, and that's kind of what I hope from him, a combination of defensive and attacking returns. The last player, don't have to talk about him much, it's Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think he's definitely worth that price at 7.5 million on set pieces, even some direct free kicks, so I definitely think we're going to be getting a lot of assists and even some goals throughout the season. And if Liverpool can replicate the defensive form they've been on in the previous couple FPL seasons, he's going to be on for some massive hauls. The rest of the defense is on the bench. I've got Taylor from Burnley. He's basically a no-brainer for me. I think Burnley are one of the most consistent defensive sides, and at 4.5 million, as I said, a little bit of a no-brainer for me. Perfectly happy with him not playing game week 1. I can kind of just rotate him on whenever he has a good fixture. I've opted for Ferguson from Crystal Palace as well over Mitchell, because when Ferguson is back from injury, I really do think he's going to be the starting fullback for Crystal Palace. With Mitchell, when PVA comes back from injury, I think he's going to lose that place almost definitely. So I don't really mind Ferguson missing out the first couple games if he is injured, because throughout the season, I think he's going to be a valuable asset. The other kind of talking point in the defense that I really would like is the combination of Alexander-Arnold and Robertson to double up on that Liverpool defense, but I can't really figure out how I'm going to be flexible enough with my squad value to kind of incorporate that. So I've opted against it. I do think though in the upcoming game weeks and maybe past game week 3 or 4, I might go back to that decision and go for Robertson if I manage to free up the funds from maybe a Mane or an Aubameyang downgrade. So the midfield is probably where the most talking points are going to be happening because there are a couple of differentials here. I'm going to be starting off with the Mane pick. So the Mane pick, I'm kind of validating it by asking you guys a question. If Salah does not hit form in game week 1, what are you guys going to do? I do think the majority of you are probably going to say that you're going to transfer him out for Bruno Fernandes, and that's kind of where I'm a little bit worried with Salah's ownership. So currently owned by 30% of people. I know we don't really have to worry about ownership, but when we do have these players transferring it out for a Bruno Fernandes, that ownership is going to drop quite a lot, and I'm going to lose my price value. And I really don't want to be forced into taking out the likes of Salah because of price value drops. So I've opted for Mane here. I think for most people, probably going to be a 1-week punt. So with Mane versus Salah, kind of a 50-50. Towards the end of the season, I think that they're basically going to have the same amount of points. It's just kind of predicting when they're going to have their good games and their off games. So Mane is in this draft as a little bit more of a differential, comes in at 13% ownership. I don't think I'm going to have to worry too much about people transferring him out, because if you're going for Mane, you probably really want him for the opening 4 or 5 game weeks. Aubameyang comes in as my next premium, and he's definitely going to be my captain for this game week. He's shown some form over preseason, and that's enough to validate my captaincy on him, especially because of that lovely Fulham away fixture. Aubameyang, unfortunately, is probably going to be here for only about 2 game weeks, and then I'll transfer him out for the likes of City, because the Arsenal fixtures get really tough after game week 2. Then the other talking point is probably going to be raising a couple of eyebrows, is Harvey Barnes from Leicester. So with Harvey Barnes, he's kind of a 1-week punt here. I'll talk about him with my transfers later on, but with Leicester, I know that they're not in the best form recently, but I do think that Harvey Barnes and Leicester can at least do something against newly promoted West Brom. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. I'm hoping Barnes does well, as it will kind of be a nice little differential, as he is currently still under 5% ownership. We covered him in our top 5 differential, so I'm happy to kind of listen to my own video and include him in a draft. The last midfielder in the starting 11 is going to be Gucci. Now Newcastle have managed to sign some really good players, like Callum Wilson and Fraser come in, and I think that's going to make that attack a lot better. I therefore opted for Gucci at 5.5, because I think out of the other 5.5 options, while there are also good options, I think that he's the best one for my team, as he allows me to incorporate a different side. The last midfielder on the bench there, Bissouma, apparently he's going to be starting for Brighton, so at 4.5, can't really expect much from him. I just want him to play, so at least then he can come on and get me 2 or 3 points if one of my starters miss out. The attack is basically template FC. We've got Timo Werner, Mitrovic, and Ings. So I prefer Ings over Che Adams, because I just think he's more of a talisman, and he is on penalties. Hopefully, Ward-Prowse could be in the mix there. But with Danny Ings, I'm expecting him to have another good season along with Southampton, and hopefully that returns some points. The other reason with Danny Ings is that he's a nice, easy upgrade to Martial if I do want him. You can see that on the left there, I've got 0.5 million in the bank, and that's why I'm kind of labeling this starting 11 as kind of the flexibility FC team, because I can upgrade Harvey Barnes if I wish, I can upgrade Davies if I wish, and I can upgrade Danny Ings if I wish. Mitrovic comes in at 6 million, a lot of good 6 million options there. I'm thinking of Che Adams. You could also stretch the budget to Callum Wilson at 6.5. He's also a good option, but I think with Mitrovic, as with Ings, he's a talisman for Fulham. If Fulham are going to score, he's probably going to be involved, and I think with those opening couple fixtures, they definitely look good for him. Then with Timo Werner, my kind of punt for that Chelsea attack, that really improved Chelsea team with all the signings they've been making. I think overall Chelsea are going to have a very good season, and I think Timo Werner will overall. And the nice thing about Timo Werner and Danny Ings as a combination is I don't necessarily have to downgrade Werner if I want Martial. I can just simply choose which one of them are on form, and then I can make my decision there. On the bench, we've got Steer from Aston Villa. Now, Steer or Nyland are either going to be starting, apparently, because the other Aston Villa goalkeepers are injured. So just keep your eyes on that. The one thing I can say about Nyland is he is quite highly owned right now, and if he doesn't start on the first game week, I can see a lot of transfers out, and you don't really want a 3.9 million goalkeeper on your bench that you just kind of lost value on. So this lineup has a very template / differential element to it, but as I said, it's very flexible. So that's what I've kind of gone for here with the money in the bank. I've saved 0.5 million so I can do upgrades as I please, and I've opted for Barnes over maybe a Spurs attacker like Ali or Son, because I do think that first game week fixture is a lot better than Everton at home. So getting on to the transfers, as I said, the transfer plan is of utmost importance this season with that blank game week 1. So I spoke about the flexibility with that money in the bank and the players, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. So in game week 2, I'm going to be bringing in a Manchester United option. I won't bring them in for game week 1 because I think there's too much up in the air at the moment, especially with the likes of Greenwood. Sancho apparently is in talks again, so if he moves to Manchester United, I definitely won't be having Greenwood, because I think Greenwood would lose his place. Martial is currently on the top of my radar therefore, and I really want to wait to get him in. So what my current situation is, I'm going to monitor Danny Ings over that first game week, as well as Timo Werner, and then make my decision on who I think will perform the best in game week 2. I can easily switch out Danny Ings for Martial with that 0.5 stored in the bank, or even Harvey Barnes to Greenwood if I do please. In game week 3, as I said, Aubameyang out. He's going to be coming out for the likes of Sterling or De Bruyne in. I don't really know who I'm going to choose out of these two. I'm hoping that game week 2 allows me some closure on that topic so I can select the best option for my FPL team. That's also going to allow me some more money in the bank that I can make some other upgrades in the upcoming game weeks. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how the team is setting out. Let me know down in the comments below what your drafts are. They're probably going to be better than mine. So this is basically going to wrap up the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please like it if you did. And as I said, subscribe if you're new, have not subscribed yet, to get on this awesome FPL journey that we hopefully are going to be on this season. I'll check you guys over on my Twitter at DayvyFPL. Otherwise, on the Deadline with Dayvy live stream on Saturday morning / afternoon / night, wherever you are in the world. I'm going to be signing off. This has been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.